What's up everybody, this is Danny and today I'm in Berlin checking out the Xiaomi 14 series and they look pretty cool. So there's going to be some videos coming up on that soon. But today what I'm going to do is check out the iPhone 15 Pro Max versus the iPhone 16 Pro Max because I know a lot of you requested this video to see if it's actually worth upgrading to because there are new sensors this year. So we're really going to have to see, and you also get an idea of what the audio mix sounds like. Because it's windy out here, there's some environmental noise, so that feature might be alone worth upgrading to. So make sure you let me know if the microphone sounds good, what video looks good, and then we'll just check this out to see if the camera's worth upgrading to. Let's do it. Okay, let's start with the daytime pictures, and I can't lie, when I was taking these photos and looking back at them on the screens, I really couldn't tell a major difference, but after looking at them side by side, I did notice some differences, so let's go over some of the major ones. The first thing I noticed right away is the color tone of the images as a whole. If I had to generalize a new iPhone 16 Pro Max, it definitely leans towards the warmer side of white balance, and it really makes a difference to this cloudy day in Berlin. Some pictures are more drastic than others, but I think it makes the captures more accurate for the most part. I also noticed that most of the pictures are a little brighter, especially in the highlights, almost like what Samsung's processing looked like before, so I found that interesting. Look at the trees here, very vibrant in comparison. During sundown on almost any iPhone in the last 3 to 4 years, you always get these super bluish pictures like you see here, but look at the new iPhone, so much more pleasant. So it looks like they've changed their white balance algorithm for this time of day, which I appreciate. So naturally, this makes the colors a bit more rich and more vibrant, so let me know if you like that or not. But the more I think about it, I'm not sure if this makes a huge difference or not, because you can fix a lot of this when it comes to the photographic styles on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. If you want those highlight bumps, just change it to vibrant or switch to the warm style if you're getting images that are too blue. But the thing that the new iPhone 16 series changes is that you don't have to switch to these at all before you shoot. You can apply the photographic styles after you shoot as long as you have HEIF turned on in the settings, and you even get an undertone setting so you can fine tune your skin tone for the perfect look, and you also have a selection of moods which are different looks that you can apply and tweak right in the squares that you see on the right. And you can copy and paste this look to multiple photos after you dial in that perfect look, so I think this is huge, so let me know what you think. So with this type of power built in, do these color differences that you see out of the camera even matter anymore? Let me know in the comment section below. This should be an interesting comment section. When it comes to technical parts of the image itself, I did notice that the new iPhone 16 Pro Max does a better job of reducing noise in the daytime photos. Look at Mark's shirt here, this is a pretty big difference, so that is nice to see. For the most part, almost every photo that I took, I did notice a bump up in the level of clarity, and both of these photos seen throughout the comparison was shot in HEIF Max with 48 megapixel output, so they are the same on both phones. I'll show you this quick zoom test that I did on the rooftop of the hotel. The camera setup in terms of focal lengths are exactly the same. A lot of these pictures are very subtle in improvements, and a lot of people might not even be able to tell the difference. So if you're primarily just sharing on social media and not pixel peeping at all, you will definitely be just fine keeping your iPhone 15 Pro Max another year. But when you look closely at these images and punch in a little bit, you can see the better white balance, the slightly better highlight control, and detail throughout the picture. So while this might be a lot of processing, it seems like the new improved sensor combined with it is producing a slightly better image during the day, so let me know if you can tell the difference. When you look at a picture like this, it's really hard to tell the difference, but then when you punch in, look at the plants there on the balcony. This one is clear when looking at them side by side, and I can tell the difference for sure. But to sum things up, everything just looks a little clearer, but it'll all depend on if you're an enthusiast like I am. It might make you want to upgrade, but for the casual user, I'm almost doubting that this will be a reason to upgrade. But I'm not going to just show you just the better shots, because sometimes the iPhone 15 Pro Max takes better pictures, like here in this 5x shot from the hotel balcony. And in this portrait picture of the street sign, the 15 Pro Max has a crisp tone and a sharper image, so it's not all one-sided. The 16 Pro Max definitely needs some tuning because the focus is mixed here, while the 15 Pro Max nailed it. Here in this food pic, the 15 Pro Max looks better as well, so there are times where the older phone will perform better, but if anything, if you're looking to upgrade at all, it is more for the consistent white balance and processing. Multiple pictures in this restaurant definitely shows the right direction in skin tones and overall colors in the scene. I am seeing just consistently better renditions from the new phone, so even just for the casual shooters, I think users might notice a difference right away just from the processing alone. Like in this picture, the cooler tone of the iPhone 15 Pro Max makes this look crisper for sure, but the warm tone on the 16 Pro Max is more accurate. And on the next picture, take a look at the ice. It is over sharpened for sure, but what's great is the edge to edge sharpness has improved. Look at the writing on the Coca-Cola bottle, so while it's subtle, this is all welcome. I am noticing the same thing across portrait photos as well, so no need to tell you the same information. I'm noticing this all across, even on the front facing camera as well, just slightly slightly crisper with better balance. Surprised how noisy both of these were when I'm looking back at it. It really wasn't that dark outside, about 4 p.m. in the afternoon, but the 16 Pro Max does look better, but it's not a huge difference, and that makes sense since it's the same front-facing camera. I think the real decision should be made after looking at the nighttime photos. This is where I can see the difference with the new fusion sensor. Look at the shot, no night mode, just single snap, and that is a big difference. Less noise, better clarity, and richer colors. Same thing with this steak dish. Yes, it was more color accurate as well because the restaurant was dark with a yellower tone, but so much sharper. While this is more subtle, there is less noise in the entire image on the 16 Pro Max with less sharpening. You can see that much better when you punch in a little bit, so this might be where you might see the difference. Without night mode, you can just see how much more light the 16 Pro Max is letting in, so you might notice that too. But I like this night mode portrait shot of Nick Gray where you can see the nice warm tone over here from the light on the right, and the skin tone is so much better. Same thing here with Mark Linsangin. The overall tone is better with the new phone, even though the portrait cutout could be better on both of these phones. This photo of the schnitzel really shows the difference between the two when it comes to ambient low lighting. When you punch in, look at the difference in the breading of the schnitzel and the material of the lemon pouch. That is a bigger jump than I thought it would be. But not all of the pictures are going to be that drastic though. The iPhone 15 Pro Max still does a great job with night mode. It's when you punch in, you can see the subtle differences of better noise reduction and also detail pickup like you see here on the building. The new 48 megapixel ultra wide can produce better shots at night like you see here. The building retains more detail and looks cleaner all around, but I'm not sure what this is though. I'm still trying to figure it out. In some of the pictures, you'll have to look really hard to see the improvements, like here on the side of the building to notice the details. And in this one, the iPhone 16 Pro Max gets a little too aggressive with the noise reduction, wiping out some of the detail on this metal, so it will go back and forth. But it isn't the drastic upgrade that I was looking for at night, because sometimes the older phone does better, so I'm assuming it needs more tuning. In fact, there are times where the iPhone 15 Pro Max takes better photos at night too, so I'm sure the 16 Pro Max will get better with maturity and software updates. The 5x optical lens remains the same, and I'm assuming that because the images look very similar in low light. When I got home, I took some pictures of my family, and this is where I started to notice some more differences. Again, the richer colors, the clarity, the skin tone improvements are pretty large under certain conditions like this one. I noticed this mostly on the main camera, which makes sense because it has an improved sensor. The contrast, the shadow detail on the right here, and the colors look great. The 2x crop also shows these improvements, which makes sense because it uses the main sensor, but the 5x weirdly in this one looks better on the 15 Pro Max. I know it makes no sense, but I did see it here again when I was doing another zoom test at Disney Springs. The 5x night mode picture on the iPhone 15 Pro Max looks a little better. So again, let me know what you think of this. I am seeing some slight improvements in the front-facing camera at night. This one in Berlin isn't as drastic, but the one of me and my wife looks clearer and nicer overall on the 16 Pro Max. Again, these differences are due to the processing, so it won't be as drastic since this is the same front-facing camera, but it's nice to see that night captures get a little bump up. So let's jump into the video to wrap this up. Under daytime conditions, it's really hard to tell a difference in the video, as you can see here. I still think the iPhone has the best video that you can get in a smartphone, so I think video is where you aren't going to see much of a difference at all. Here is a walking stabilization test I did in Berlin, and while the iPhone 15 Pro Max's video is a little brighter, which is a surprise to me, I don't see much of a difference here in the stabilization, which is expected since it should be using the same stabilization technology. The better white balance also shows up on video as well. This is Ben and Mark playing ping pong at the hotel in cinematic mode. It's nice having 2x on cinematic mode video, but the skin tone and the hoodie color is just so much more accurate on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, but they both look great. You do get the addition of 4K 120 frames per second on the new iPhone this year compared to the 1080p on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, so let me know if you think you will use this feature for slow motion. If you do, it definitely is better quality, so just another cool feature to have, even though it's been on Android phones for a while now. So for nighttime or low light video, let's kick it off with a stabilization test inside this cool restaurant that we went to the first night that we were in Berlin. I don't see a huge difference since it's picking up the bounce from my walk about the same again. I can say that the iPhone 16 Pro Max maybe looks a little better on the side-to-side movements, but it's not drastic whatsoever. The front-facing camera video looks similar, just as I expected since it is the same camera, so let me know if you can see a difference at all on this footage. It was really dark outside though of the hotel, that's why it has so much noise. I know a lot of you wanted to know if the light reflections or flares have improved, so I had to do this test, and I don't see any real improvements in this, so you will still get some of those green orbs in your photos and videos, so we'll have to wait another year to see if they fix this. I wanted to test the ultra wide video at night to see if it's improved since the iPhone 16 Pro Max has a new 48 megapixel ultra wide sensor, and if you look closely you can see better detail pickup, especially if you look over here on the right. You can see better texture detail and overall image looks slightly crisper and it's not as muddy, so I'm happy to see this. If you look on the ground, it does retain more of that texture detail, so you will see some better ultra wide video. So in the end, let me sum it up like this. I saw more differences than I expected in this camera comparison and came away pleasantly surprised by the improvements. So if you feel like upgrading from the iPhone 15 Pro Max and budget is no issue, then go for it. And if you are on iPhone 14 and below, I think this is a great step up this year, so I would say go for it too. But do you need to upgrade from the iPhone 15 Pro Max? Absolutely not, because you do get the same focal lengths as last year, the same set of features outside of the 4K 120 frames per second slow motion, and I almost forgot, you do get that new camera control button that is neat to switch modes quickly and to also use as a shutter button, so if you want that, you'll definitely need to upgrade. But in my opinion, I think you'll be just fine keeping your iPhone 15 Pro Max another year. Even though I did see more differences than I thought I would, they are not drastic enough to justify that jump. I just wanted to share this with you because I was surprised. I mean, were you surprised, or is this exactly what you expected from this camera comparison? Let me know in the comment section below and hit that thumbs up if this helped you make a buying decision. Subscribe for a lot more videos like this one, and I will see you in the next video.